Hey, yeah, I think so, man. I'm sorry, Ruiz. Welcome, Ruiz, friend of the program. Appreciate you being here, man. It's always changed, and I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like, this doesn't show the number of people in the room here. It's tricky. I'm like, I feel like the goalpost is always being moved. It is stormy up here and warm and stormy. My mic on this clamp here. Hopefully, y'all can hear me well like that. Let me know if you can't. Yep. Houston's the move, man. Houston alt line, bro. Just Houston maybe more than 3 or 4. I think. Yeah. Definitely, I'm with you on that, Ruiz. Houston. Here's the other ones I think today. I'll give you some free picks, some free money. Yesterday I was all about it too. When I told my friend about these picks, they all panned out right. So uh, here's the other two. I like Calgary against San Jose. Um, like I like them to cover, blow them out. Basically. And then I like the St. Louis Blues to beat Winnipeg because Winnipeg has nothing to play for. So that one's a money pick right there because they got Winnipeg as the favorite. That should be like printing money. 20, they're gonna win by 30. I don't know if it's gonna be neck and neck. Maybe, yeah, that's what everybody. It's gonna be slow game. It's gonna be an under game, man. Because Houston plays at the slowest pace in the NCAA, I believe. Much slower than the slowest team that Florida has seen all season. And they actually haven't played, at least at this level, in a very long time, these two teams. I like Kelvin Sampson as a coach, especially what I saw his poise in that last championship game, in that semifinal game, Final Four game. I mean, he just sounds like a guy who knows what he's doing, really. Inspires confidence. Yeah, man, Ovi got the record, and I was watching. I mean, I wasn't there, but I was definitely watching. Well, that sits a little more flush there. That's what we want. I'm gonna even trim it up a little bit more. Yeah, Rangers play tonight too, but they play the Lightning, and the Lightning is just a really good team. The Rangers are very far away from having a chance in the playoffs. So, unfortunately, I'm not thinking. I don't know what'll happen tonight. They could win, but I don't think it matters. It definitely really doesn't matter to Tampa Bay. I don't think it matters for their seeding or anything, but they probably are just good enough to go in there and yeah, take care of them. Yeah, man. You got to go to San Antonio so you can get one of those seats, where you can't even see anything but up the basketball players' draws and into their nutsack, and that's why you should have gone to San Antonio. So you could have paid $400 to get a seat where all you can see is the bottom sides of dude's shoes. Nah, I'm with you. You shouldn't have gone to no San Antonio for that game. Those that stadium was. You don't put a basketball game in a football stadium. What is wrong with these folks? Even the players get messed up by that. Did you see the seats behind the stadium ducked down? Must have been budget seating. Must have been budget seating. Welcome, Navita Real. Chat. I don't know what that means. We're a small channel here, man. We don't move a million miles per hour. We're a close group of friends, but welcome. You're welcome to be one of us. Yeah, man, but do you see those seats in the game? Who pays for those? I need somebody to, like, I wish I had somebody, a huge following that could send me a Discord, like put a Discord picture of what their seats look like at that game. I mean, because there's like hardly a good seat in the house. But nah, I'm with you though. I'm not trying to be a hater. It is cool that you're in Texas and you would you had a chance to go to it. But I think it's like in Texas every time. Isn't it in Texas every time? Kind of like the U.S. Open used to be in D.C. I had somebody give me tickets for the U.S. Open more than once. I think one time Tiger was supposed to play and he decided not to, and this guy gave me the tickets because he only wanted to see Tiger play. Now Tiger's too busy. Don't hate us because you ain't us. You're right, man. You know, everything's better, bigger in Texas, right? What am I? Who am I to judge Texas? But I will judge the NCAA though. Who am I to judge? I want to make these joints accessible from two directions. So it's about making an X shape, and I don't know if I can process this type of thought on a live stream. Let me go get my coffee. Oh, that went down the wrong pipe. All right, so I can't see the number of viewers, which feels like it cripples me. I'm gonna exit out and see if I can come back in and see the number of viewers. Yeah, that's a pretty good. Wow, she really described that well. That AI image is really good. It's kind of accurate. All right, welcome me back. I'm back. My blend is this is some British breakfast, like some Earl Grey with milk in it. So like it's like a chai. Ever since what's his name, Vitaly was on here, got me wanting to drink chai tea. Chai tea lattes. Wonder if that hits the algorithm. Seaweed smoothies. Healthy options. When I say those things, does it hit the algorithm? We're going to learn all about you guys being here every time with me. You're going to be like, man, I should have started my own live streaming channel. All the like clickbaiting Calvin does to try to figure out the algorithm and what it's doing next. All right, this piece right here, I believe, goes on the end, but it doesn't fit particularly well. Almost need to do a new one of those. Oh, it's actually not bad now. I don't know if y'all can see that. So what I want is I want a bottom plate unit right here, but I have to figure out a way to cut this joint so that it accepts another board into it. Let me see if I can kind of figure that out on paper, because I think I have an idea. I've seen it on bedposts and also in timber framing, but yeah, I got it. It definitely has some stuff to get my mind right in there. You know, when you do this kind of job, if you want to call this a job, you have to just ingest substances. You know, there's just no way around it. All legal, of course. Let me get a pencil. Yeah, man, got to have a little caffeine, a little sugar in my blood, especially if I'm a morning person. I don't know if y'all know this. I'm a morning person. Live streaming at 5:30 at night pushes me absolutely to my limit. Believe it or not, I leave here tired. Y'all know I sometimes cut it off early. If I was on in the morning, I'd probably go for 4 hours. Because I'm just a morning. I just operate better in the AM hours, and I'm not the only one. My brother also. Oh, here's the other thing. This DNA test I had done, or I had done on my son, indicated that he was probably a morning person. And I was like, man, that's interesting. Yeah. Kidney stones keep me off of the Red Bull and like the energy drinks. I'm trying to do better with that kind of stuff. What was I gonna do earlier today? A tie beam, right? So here I have another little square. If I can kind of move myself, I need to move my microphone for a minute. Put the microphone on me. What I want to do at the bottom of these blocks, I hope I'm still in the camera, but there has to be a way, if the block is cut from side to side, there's a bridle joint here. I should be able to cut up through that bridle joint from the side at approximately the same distance as it's cut right now, maybe a ½ inch off of each side, but I have to look. And then that'll create, you have basically 4 pegs. It'll look like you have 4 pegs at the end of the post. Then the piece that goes under that would have to basically be like a fork or a finger going up like that. And then it would have to lock into place. So it gets a little tricky. Oh yeah, Ruiz. Yeah, I mean, as far as UConn yesterday, I was telling everybody, you know, UConn was the move for ever since Juju got injured, man. After Juju got injured, it was UConn all day. So, and they beat him by double digits. All right. Also, the other thing I kind of wanted to be able to do was this: flip and reverse it. Flip it and put the thing down, flip it and reverse it. Right? So we have a bent that moves in multiple directions. That's kind of what I was trying to do with it. Let me move it a little bit into the picture here. We're just playing around with different shapes and stuff. But what I'm going to do now, I think, since I can make a continuous bent from this angle, if I do this vertically, is I might actually cut a joint into the bottom of this one here. This needs to be sized a little bit further towards this. I need to cut a little bit more into this one here. This piece right here. Either this has to be cut or the shoulder has to be cut. When we're doing things by ear, it's always like I got to take a little of this off, a little of that off. And I think what has to happen is I got to go over this cut line here and take a little bit more off here. Who's Kara Lawson the coach of, man? I went to elementary school with her. She used to tell me and my brother she could beat us both at the same time in basketball. Okay, now she's got like 3 gold medals, so yeah, she could probably beat us both at the same time. But yeah, lived right in my neighborhood. Who's she coach now? She coaches a relatively competitive college. I want to say she went to Tennessee. She doesn't coach Tennessee. Was it UNC? She may be the UNC or NC State female coach. I can't remember. One of those two. I'm going to take a little bit more off this joint right here. Right here at this cut line. Because it looks to me like it's going to fit a little bit better if I do that. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, by the way. Thank you all for coming. Monday night, Monday fun day. Working on these blocks. Little tiny joinery, tiny little house with tiny little joinery. And we build a huge bed, so we don't need to do big stuff all the time. Can't see it all. So we'll build this tiny sprawling timber frame that goes on forever, you know. I'll be like the Madam Winchester of YouTube streams and just keep building a continuous timber frame tiny house. Tiny house, like casita tiny, like a toy house. Man, I think we're having, you ask the same questions we ask each other. So Heather would probably tell you it's pizza and not from like a restaurant, like we make our own. We didn't like throw the dough, but we're like frozen pizza, man. How about you, man? What's for tonight in the Ruiz household? Better be something like good. I'm waiting for, I know this answer is going to be good. What is for dinner tonight in the Ruiz household? Well, I mean, you can't lose with, yeah. You got the natty on, you get some wings, you get some ranch, a little sip, you know, a little sips of this and sips of that, and a little bite of this, bite of that, a little basketball, really a little basketball. You got yourself an evening mapped out there. We need to make some wings. I'm gonna fry them. I'm gonna fry some wings on here. Check out my videos about fried chicken. Plug the video. How to fry chicken. We got a video on that. We indeed have a video on that. That's actually coming together nice there. This side's slightly looser, but that's okay. We'll deal with that. Remember, we made our brace 2 13/16 of an inch. This brace here. And the brace pockets were cut starting at 2 inches exactly from the center of that triangle. Now, with this joint on the end, it doesn't fit particularly well, but it does take the racking stresses. You see, even when it's, so now that it's not in there, this won't happen. But let me take this piece off here, which really needs to be adjusted. Every time I put these two pieces, you see the brace pockets in there? So every time I put these two pieces together, I always manage to put them together wrong. I think those brace pockets could be cut out a little bit more to make this thing fit a little better. Wow, that doesn't fit at all. Hold on, man. There's something wrong here. Ah, wrong side. Yeah. This is almost, I can tell by looking at this pocket right here, it's not cut right. All right, what am I doing here? What's wrong with this? 2 inches. It must be this side and this side. Yeah, that looks right. That looks right. Yep. So this I was super proud of. We're going to make another one of these little triangular braces here because this is what's going to hold all that racking stress. And really, this is the way it's supposed to go here, I believe. That's not the right end cap here. This piece and then that. And that kind of pushes the brace a little. It's a little too loose for that brace. Then we have this side connecting with that, like that, with this lap joint. Now what I want to do is make another larger member here and add a tie beam across potentially. We could do that anywhere. I mean, we don't have to follow rules on this. We can just break all the rules and say F the rules and just, you know, go to town and just do what we want. Because this is all about creativity. You're supposed to enjoy it. Though, I would like to make a sprawling tiny house. So I think what we want to do... Oh, welcome, Daniel. Daniel makes his appearance. Daniel, unexcused tardy. Friend of the program, Daniel Gandara. Welcome. Steaks, fajitas, or burgers. I'm trying to think of other stuff that beef is used for. I guess roast. Ribs. I mean, you get those big beef ribs. I know you know about those in Texas. Those monsters, they look like human ribs. All right, so let's do something to this thing. Let's find out what we're gonna do next. I really need to, this is my ADHD in action. I need to make the bottom plate continuous. So it may mean that I have to recut some stuff. Potentially, I have to take this joint here and make it so that there's another piece that can go through this bottom part, fold into the bottom part, but still allow that tenon in. So I might have to alter that tenon. I don't know if you can see that from over there. This tenon might have to be cut differently, like half of it cut off, leaving the bottom half open. Then the bottom of this, or whatever piece I have running through, let's say it's this one because this is almost the right size. Then the bottom of this, see, that would leave the bottom. Man, this is so complicated. This is hard for my brain to calculate right now. I might just start with something simple here so I don't have to think. I can just do mindful stuff like, or mindless stuff. If we called this a bent here, I could probably alter one of these bottoms. This bottom not exactly the same length here. Now I've got these little blocks over here, which I forgot to mention. Do form a square, which we showed last time. And these I'm going to use for another section of the building, but I put them aside because I don't have a triangular brace in there yet. And I think that I need that for stability. So I want to incorporate this piece in here somewhere, but I want it to be seamlessly incorporated. So I got to find a way to basically weave this in using some sort of joint. Maybe a bridle joint in the center of this one right here that drops it down, or a dado. That would work. So take off an inch, quarter inch or half inch off the top, and then all but a half inch comes off of this, and then it just drops into place. But it has to be even with the other stuff. I have not seen the Minecraft movie, man. I have not seen the Minecraft movie. If my son was in here, he probably would tell you. Is that one out in the theaters? Because, man, money's tight. I don't get to the theater very often, Anything I can stream, I try to get watching. Right now I'm watching White Lotus. Shout out White Lotus, folks. I know I probably got 25 White Lotus actors and actresses watching my live stream right now. Shout out to all those White Lotus. I know talent knows talent, man. Game recognizes game, so I'm sure they're watching Dad's Workshop right now. Getting it in with old Dad. All right, let's do something here. Let's take this little tiny triangular brace and trace it and make another one. I'll even trace it over this paper here. Whew, it is humid in here. All right, good tracing of my corner brace. We're gonna make another one of these. I'm probably gonna use this piece right here because I think this is cut out to be exactly the same size. Without actually tracing onto it, because I don't want to trace the actual tenons, you want to actually measure those out. And you use a tool to get a 45-degree angle at the corners. Reacher, like jack reacher, is that what we're talking about? Oh, where's Gandara at, man? I want to know what Gandara watches. Curious about him. Yeah, I'm watching whatchamacallit, I don't have Peacock at the moment. I'm watching like I said, uh, what is it called? The Royal Gemstones? The Righteous Gemstones? Righteous Gemstones, and then another great Walter Goggins piece, White Lotus. Walton Goggins, excuse me, if Walton Goggins is cool enough to watch my live stream. You know, he did a meet and greet in South, like Greenville, like a couple months ago. I should have got in on that. We got lines there. Now it's just about getting 45-degree angles. Oh, okay, yeah. Just remember that was at a half. So I'm gonna find these points I just measured out. I'm gonna dial in this marking gauge, and this is gonna give me a perfect 45-degree angle to the corner here, which is one thing I need. So I got one 45-degree angle there. That's dialed in, and then I've got it over here. I find the same thing over here, little mark. Problem with this though is it's just kind of hard to find that mark there. It's probably got to go to the corner here. So let's see how that. Let's pencil now. I always start my live with a pencil that I've had all day and I haven't lost. It's been in my ear, in my pocket. I stuck myself with it 5 times. And every time I start my live, I lose my pencil. Oh yeah, man, he is funny, dude. I love Danny McBride. He does play the same thing in every movie, but yeah, if Danny McBride is behind it, it's gonna be funny, you know. There we go. That's gonna help. All right, that's generally. I don't want that one to go all the way. Yeah, Eastbound and Down is hilarious, man. Love that one. Yeah, I'm happy with my chisels at the moment. They seem fine. Really. They do. Looks like I was going a quarter inch in or on these little braces. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Dad's Workshop. Just gonna dial in that by kind of checking that. Now that tenon is smaller. This one got cut a little bit larger. And 1/2 inch is what I did. So when I cut this, I probably did this first, which is the whole layout process where you gotta determine. I think I want a 1/4 inch up from there. Yep, 1/4 inch up. That 45-degree angle. A lot of measuring stuff. 1/4 inch up the 45-degree angle is going to be the point of intersection of another angle, which is also going to be 45 degrees. So I need to mark up this. I need to find a 1/4 inch. I use a ruler for this, it's just easier. Make sure it's right on that line. 1/4 inch up is right there. That's going to be the intersection of another 45-degree angle. And that's going to mark like the shoulder of the tenon for this brace. Another one right there. Make sure I can see it. That one as well. Because I'm going to go back and then draw 45-degree angles through those points too, going the opposite way. Probably not as dark, but right there. Wish y'all could see this better. I might zoom in so you can see. See that right there? So these got to be cut like this too. And on here, you can see that gap was cut out. I think I used a bandsaw primarily to get those little edges out. You can use a jigsaw, bandsaw, or some sort of coping saw probably. But that gives space for the shoulder. Also, last time I mentioned, the brace pockets are cut flush. They're not cut at a 45-degree angle in this case. So we've got that ready. I'm going to transpose all these lines from this side onto the other side though. Just as due diligence, that's what you should do. Let's mark the waist too. This is well, no, it's not all waist. Because what's the tenon length is 1/4 inch. Because at this mark right here is where the tenon begins, 1/4 inch, and it is an inch long. I already know that. Yep, an inch long. So I'm gonna go and make another. I gotta make another line, but I need to make sure that they know where the 1/4 inch is. I'm gonna go out and measure 1/4 inch up an inch on the layout face. I'm gonna make another 45-degree angle there. Lots of lines going on here. And that's going to be the cut line of where the tenon is going to fall. And then you'll have to carve around it. See that? So that tenon is actually going to be right there. It's going to end right there. But I'm going to draw another line for that, which also is at a 45-degree angle. So all these lines, square rule, everything at a 45-degree angle. I'm not going to make it all the way through. I want to just show where the tenon is going to be. So that's the tenon there. Man, all the sawdust and pollen and everything in the air. Oh, see? I had my pencil behind my ear the whole time. Why did you all tell me that? Man, what's wrong with y'all? See, I don't know where my pencil is because it's in the same place it was the entire time. 1/4 inch up from this with my good pencil. Mark an inch right here, which is the length of the tenon from that intersecting mark there. 45-degree angle from there, but I'm not going to make it, I'm only going to make it that 1/4 inch long. I'm not going to make it the whole entire length. And then I'm going to retrace my 45-degree angle line here. And you can see, well, that tenon looks short, doesn't it? What is it, 1/2 inch? It needs to be another 1/4 inch long. That's what you get with me. You get mistakes, you know? Like I'm actually a real person. How is this? What is the width on that? Well, that's a healthy 1/4 inch. I'm going to do it the same way again because I think that that's just an overly healthy 1/4 inch there. Good to use millimeters in this application probably. That's fine. We'll do that. You want to lay that marking gauge exactly against that so your reference face hopefully is straight. You know. Really, what you want to do is go back on the back and do all these things again. You know, you got this whole layout. You got to mark. You want to mark where the waist is. That's everything here. Everything here is waste. Everything here is waste. I don't think I'm gonna go mark everything on the other side. I'm gonna wing it. This is all waste here too. Little baby brace. Got a baby brace here. Now we got a baby brace here that's not quite cut out. I could start by making some cuts in there with my saw. I love this saw that I have now. It's my favorite one. Little tiny mini brace. Let's make some marks on the other side so you all can follow along though. Because what's going on in the chat? Yeah, so we had a kitten. We had a cat that had kittens. True story. You know how I roll. I don't tell false stories. We had a cat that had kittens, and her kittens all died. She had 2 kittens, and they both died. I think she suffocated the second one, not on purpose, but she just laid on it. She was very sad, as any mother who loses their children usually is. So, we have a person we know who is in animal control nearby, and they had a bunch of this litter of fat little kittens that doesn't have a mother. They're all orphaned. And so we brought these 5 orphan kittens in and put them with our cat, who's a grieving mother who just lost her babies, is still lactating. Now she took to these 5 kittens amazingly. She's like automatically a loving mother. It's crazy. Nature is so amazing. Do your part for nature, definitely. You feel the intrinsic reward when you help something like that. Definitely feels rewarding. That's not a good one. Doesn't look as spot on as that other side, but we'll go with that. Oh yeah, I was just telling Daniel. I was just telling the chat about our cat. So our cat had, and I'm not a big cat person, but we do have a cat here. Our cat had kittens, and they died. The first one was stillborn. The second one survived for 2 days, and then for whatever reason, she passed away on Sunday. So it was kind of sad, and our cat was sad, and she was moping around. So we called the animal control person that we got in contact with, who had a litter of kittens that were orphaned, and she was struggling to bottle feed these kittens. So like the right key for the right keyhole, right? We came through, picked up these 5 kittens, and now these kittens are all like being cared for by her. She's like super loving. It's pretty amazing to watch a cat take other kittens in and raise them like her own, which is what she's doing. Pretty amazing stuff, man. When I position this ruler on an inch, it actually gives me a 45-degree angle there. Yeah, propane saves you some time, right? You know, I don't blame you for that. Still tastes good too. Looks like I got my sides both laid out right here. So I'm gonna make a few cuts on here with the with my Ryoba saw. This would be something I would generally do on a I would generally do this kind of work on a bench vise, right? Or with a bandsaw, something like that. But since we do Dad's Workshop acoustic, this is analog style, we're gonna do it that way. I'm not gonna try to make this angled cut though. I think I'm gonna cut straight down in the middle and then just cut straight and chisel it out. How'd that look? That doesn't look that great on the side. I wonder what it looks like. Let me get my mirror. That's not bad. I kind of passed through that cut line though, you can see on that side, and that's what I was trying to avoid. Yeah, that wasn't good. I should say was bad because it was bad. It wasn't not bad. Maybe I can get this angle. I don't know. We'll try. Didn't feel very good. Oh, by the way, I'm using the cross-cutting side of my... I'm not going to cut any more than that. I'm going to flip this. That is not great sawing, so we're going to flip this and chisel. Make a cut mark here. Stop cut. Flip it over, do the same thing. That is absolutely not very clean. So we're gonna make a couple saws, cuts with the saw straight down this time. Not gonna try to get cute with it. Make one right here. Well, let's do it right in the middle. It's actually tricky to do this even with a bandsaw because it's such a small space. This is like a scroll saw job, really. I like this approach better, I think. I find a good angle where I can get at that. There we go. Oh, that's kind of It's difficult, isn't it? Hold on. This is why you gotta have a bench vise, man. I'm gonna go from this side. Whatever angle I can get it from right now. No kebabs, no skewer food. Man, that Brazilian barbecue used to be what's up, man, back in the day. I don't know. I haven't had it in a long time. Get the gout, so I probably shouldn't, you know. Shout out to Brazilian barbecue wherever you are, wherever you went. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Where we build and we talk about all kinds of stuff. Food, national championship, all kinds of stuff. That felt like a little bit of a blowout there. Hopefully that didn't happen. I feel like the random person is coming. So you know how we go like a certain amount of time before a rando shows up and says something, either mean or just like generally in the chat where we're like, oh, hey, new person. I feel like we're getting towards that random time of the live stream where somebody random is going to show up and say something, probably, you know, somewhat rude, which is okay. Say something. I don't mind if it's rude. And then we'll all like try to nurture them, you know, like we always do. Make them part of the family. What was that last one we had? Always Loving. Shout out to Always Loving, who's only sometimes loving, by the way. Now the next thing we should do is probably make the same type of cuts down the they didn't say anything mean. What they say? Oh, you were there, Daniel. You were like sitting back watching, just not talking because it was about sports, and they were like, oh, no one's in the chat, something like that, you know. And then they were like, it's just you and Ruiz in the chat, and Daniel was like, and it's just it was just to like just doo-doo on me, man. They just want shit on me a little bit, you know. People get off on that kind of stuff. Makes them feel powerful. They feel good for their day. They trolled somebody. But we were nice to them, and we didn't say anything mean, you know. Ooh, wow, that works really well against the grain there. We said, oh, no, you know, Daniel's like, he's here, see, because Daniel always shows support. Yeah, that's the thing, man. You know, it's always somebody's got something to say till they start their own. It's all fun and games till you start your own live stream, right? It's all fun and games till you get over 56 followers. I think that person has 55 followers, so, you know, I don't blame them for being a little jealous. Cream going to rise to the top. We're going to get better than these numbers, man. These numbers they're going to climb. Just because we are who we are, we're going to get the numbers we need. And I'm cross-cutting here with the cross-cutting section of this older Ryoba saw. I just got back recently. Actually, I'm going to start with that cut there, and I'm going to make another cut. I'm going to make a stop cut here. Oh, sorry I hit the microphone there. I know I did. Sometimes when it's on me, that's the reason I take it off me. Because sometimes when it's on me, I hit it. There we go. There's a stop cut. I just don't want to saw through that, but I do want to saw here. I mean, I want to cut here. So these got a lot of angles on them, and then the tenons have to be trimmed out. So this is kind of a time consuming, but each brace does a lot of work, so it's worth it. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Oh, dude, Daniel, let me know. Go in the Discord and let me know when you're streaming. I'll get on your stream. I mean, that's the least I could do to show you support, dude. Let me know when you're streaming because I know you work, so it's probably not even a difficult time to get on. Yeah, I want to support you, man. You're a big friend of the show, dude. Me and my mom. Yeah, one of my podcasters said that back when I was streaming and it was just me, I had 3 followers and 2 were my mom. 3 subscribers and 2 were my mom. I don't know. This is cross-cutting technically here, so let's continue that here. You want to stay straight on this. And to change your angle on one of these saws, you got to tilt the saw backwards or forwards, and it'll start a new line. You know I don't care about my workbench. I'll saw right down to it. I don't know how people work on workbenches. They can't do that too. Jaquil579. Wow. I love his YouTube. Is this his YouTube username? Gift? Sent $50. Yeah, well, my channel's not to that point, so that would be kind of difficult. Although I do have a GoFundMe, so feel free to jump on that. This is the random. Remember, what did I say? What did I just tell y'all? The random thing. It's the random. Jaquil, welcome, man. I mean, gift, exclamation point, welcome. It's a troll, says the troll. Message deleted. Bye, gift. Not getting karma off our little live stream. No, sir. Earn your troll elsewhere. I've got a Miss Heather on my side. She ain't playing none of that stuff. What did I tell y'all though? See, I'm psychic. I said it was gonna happen, dude. It was gonna happen. It's like I'm starting to figure out the time span with which I have chats with my people, and then when people interject with BS, it happens like every so often. It's kind of like being in a classroom. There would be someone who would interrupt the flow of instruction to get across their own, to get attention for themselves or whatever. Kind of want to saw down through the bottom of these. Yeah. Yep, I knew it was gonna happen, man. I felt it coming. I was like, it's my alarm that goes off for randos are about to show up happened, and it happened exactly when gift exclamation point showed up. It's a troll. He said it. So you hear him say, "It's a troll." Yeah. Well, how's that tenon longer than the inch? We're gonna go with the longer side. Same thing here. It should be an inch long. We'll make it smaller if we have to. This is a little tricky here. Let me see how I can do this. Prop it up on one of these, maybe. Nope, I'm not even gonna try none of that. I'm just gonna chisel it out, dude. Good old carving. Should be easy, actually. I do have a knot there. That's gonna be tricky. Now, that tenon is drawn differently on both sides, and this is why you do this, because you need to, it's not the whole measure twice, cut once thing. You actually want to check things, just like double check your stuff. Because right here, I want to actually add a line here where the longer side is, so I don't cut into that. Oh, I didn't even hear. I have no audio. Could be one of my family members who's they just troll, you know. They do anti-trolling. What my family members do is they want to watch and then not respond to even important events in my life. So they want to be on my social media, but not ever respond when important things happen in my life. Now, how many other people can relate to that? Probably a few. And maybe the algorithm, shoot, maybe Facebook, maybe Meta, maybe whoever. I tend to think it's my family members. I'll go ahead and blame them. I don't have a problem doing that. And not my mom. She just doesn't care about it. She just doesn't do that stuff well. Going awkwardly against the grain here, but that's okay because it's good chiseling practice to chisel this whole part out. And then I'm going to come down that cut line again. This is the way when you have to, I might even get a smaller chisel here. I might zoom in also. Maybe that'll give me a few more people. Oh, how I said it, yeah. It's a troll. Calvin, leave it set there now. It's a troll now. Oh, come on now. Leave it be. Leave it set. That's the most Minnesotan thing ever. Don't throw rocks. Don't. 3 things we learned in Minnesota when we were little. Well, no stranger danger back then. They just let us out. First thing you learn, don't throw rocks. Okay. Doesn't matter if you throw them in a pond, then you're messing up somebody's fishing. So don't throw rocks. You scare the fish. And even if you're not fishing, they're worried about scaring the fish for the next starving Minnesotan who's out walleye fishing or bullhead fishing. You know, they need those fish for their lutefisk at Christmas time. You know, at Easter, lutefisk. Y'all know what lutefisk is? No Minnesota people. Yeah, they don't want to. Don't throw rocks. So that's the first one. Don't point guns at people, even if it's a toy gun, right? Don't point that toy gun at people. I told you, Calvin, leave it set. Don't do that. Oh, you don't know. And what a good deal is, like, that's a ripoff, right? So, like, the third rule is don't get ripped off because you're the dummy if you get ripped off, right? Scandinavian people are notoriously frugal. Don't let your money slide out of your pocket. Don't spend it, right? Well, that's a little chunk out of there. If you have money, don't spend it. That's the other rule. Die before you spend it. This has got a problem here. There's a knot in this brace right at the brace tenon, and it's making that wood unpredictable and brittle. Oh, of course. I've seen both the movie and the show. I haven't watched the last season of the show, but the movie is classic. I mean, those things are things I could show you family movies where they act like just like they do in Fargo. Yet everyone in Minnesota, when that movie came out, oh, they don't even know this. No way that sounds like Minnesota. No, never. Those guys are all from the South. They're from the South, you know. But actually, the guys who made the movie, the Coen brothers, are from Minnesota and do understand the culture pretty well. So does Al Franken, man. But yeah, Minnesota is so strange. Like people have said before, it should just be, we should cede it to Canada. But now Trump will never cede any territory, especially something as widespread and resource rich as Minnesota. Oh, true story, there is a town in Minnesota called Northwest Angle, the Northwest Angle. It's actually mostly in Canada, but it's a town in Minnesota. Look at the map. It's that tiny little finger that sticks into the boundary waters up at the top of Minnesota. You can see it's part of the States, but it's actually connected to Canada. You have to cross into Canada to get into this town. They tried to secede from the United States because the fishermen were paying higher tariffs on their catch in the U.S., so they were going to secede to Canada. Get the Union Army out there, man. Stop those Minnesotans from seceding from the U.S. They've joined Sweden if they could. They got like sister towns and stuff in Sweden. It is the weirdest state. People trade, and these are like people who still have relatives in Sweden. Their family's been in Minnesota for 150 years. Oh, we got to give back to Voigensburg. That's where my grandpap, my grandpa was born, in Savornastock. I made that Swedish town up. Savarnasmarg. Chardonnay, welcome Chardonnay, friend of the program. You did make it to the live. We're talking about Minnesota right now. And how it is like the movie Fargo in real life. IRL, it is like that. So don't let them tell you anything differently. Trust me, I lived there till I was 6. I know everything about it. No, I mean, I did only live there till I was 6, but spent a lot of time there after that, and spent a lot of time with people from there, especially my dad, who his accent will be there forever. So. What's that? Oh, that's one of my little. I'm just incrementally going down this piece and cutting off more of this brace. You can see I've got this brace pocket almost cut over here. I mean, I don't know. If you want to see, you are missing out on much. If your life goal is to see the biggest ball of twine, you are, in fact, missing out not going to Minnesota. Because the biggest ball of twine in the world is, in fact, in Minnesota. So, bucket list item right there. I need to see the world's biggest ball of twine. And see a green giant that's 60 feet tall, then you need to go to Minnesota. Also, it is a resource-rich and beautiful natural state with over 10,000 lakes. So it's like each person has their own little lake. Not really. There's lots of people and not as many lakes, but there are over 10,000 lakes. So that is true. And beautiful wilderness. I spent a lot of my childhood, tubing down these vast rivers and boa hunting with my cousin, but, going on snowmobiles, stuff like that. Fun stuff. Great memories. Need more firmness there, because I got to go after this from the grain side here. At least to get a stop cut. Nah, Chardonnay, you're probably not missing out on a whole lot. Yeah, the rubber band ball might be there too, man. Definitely the biggest ball of twine is there. It's like the size of this garage, and I told you, but there's a lot of those kind of tourist traps there. So the Mall of America, for example, largest mall in the United States. Second or third biggest mall in the world. One loop around that thing is a mile, But now everybody shops online, so why does anyone want to go to a mall? Malls are, your biggest mall in the world is like in your phone. Biggest mall in the world is called Temu. 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 Temu? Temu? I don't know. One of the two. Yeah, but you don't want to eat it. Actually, Andrew Zimmern, who does Bizarre Foods, he actually lived in Minnesota for a good amount of time. So he goes there and does an episode on this food that I'm going to mention now. But in Minnesota, some stuff like that you might find in other parts of the Midwest is there. So they have this thing called SOS, which is shit on a shingle. It's like ground beef, like loose meat, but like kind of in a gravy base. And it's put onto toast. So it's like you eat it over toast. That's one thing they eat in Minnesota. Also, lutefisk. Lutefisk. It's a traditional Swedish food that's eaten at Christmas time, whereby fish, white fish particularly, are like bleached in a hydrogen peroxide solution, mixed with a milk-based cream type base, and served like that, steamed. It's terrible. So lutefisk is the one that everyone knows about. Walleye is some of the best fish in the country. So walleye is supposed to be the best freshwater fish. And then northern pike, another fish that's native to that area, considered a good eating fish. The trout run a little bit later, so you probably could get that there. But Minnesota is also like the home of a number of the classic, fast food restaurants that we take for granted. Like Dairy Queen, I believe, comes from Minnesota. If not, you can fact check me on that. Burger King, Hardee's, I believe both came from Minnesota. Definitely not Cracker Barrel, but there was one called Ground Round that was really popular in the U.S. for a good amount of time. They even had one in Virginia when I was a kid. And Fuddruckers, that's another one from there. Yeah, you can't get lutefisk. I'll tell you, man, DQ in Minnesota, they don't have trashy DQs. Like you go to the DQ, they're gonna turn your Blizzard upside down to show you that it'll sit in the cup. They don't dare do that in places in the South. If they turn your Blizzard upside down, it's gonna pour out. I bet in Texas they make a sloppy Blizzard. Ruiz or anybody who has a Dairy Queen that's still open near their house because they're closing like hotcakes. You're not gonna, yeah, it's gonna dump out in most of the 48 contiguous states here. I'm sure they'll make it in Alaska, but I bet DQ is like, I bet it's like a life commitment to go to DQ in Alaska. You got to pay $35 for a Blizzard. It's kind of like that now, actually. All right, we got this brace mostly cut. Now I got to measure in from the sides because it really needs to be like this. Now this tenon is bigger than this tenon, so I got to figure out where I went wrong with that. We got two braces now. So once we get two brace pockets, we're going to be in business. Whoa, I'm going to lose that. And we're just going to weave together all these little joints here until we got, a nice structure. But I'm going to make these little marks. I'm probably going to wrap it up for today. Fact about DQ, man. Definitely, most definitely. I bet down there, y'all got terrible DQs. But up in the Midwest, nobody, if you have a bad DQ, like one of my grandmothers lived like 5 miles from my other grandmother in Minnesota. Both of them lived on farms, etc. The town that my mom's mom lived in, had a DQ at the entrance. The town that my other grandmother lived in was like a ghost town. There's really not much there at all. Maybe one functional business, and that's owned by my family. So just not like one gas station, which closed. So everybody would go to that DQ for like a special occasion, dessert or whatever. You don't have a lot of options in that kind of country. We're talking about very remote country, high plains. But people were super picky. That DQ served sloppy frosty, sloppy blizzards, and so what happened was the people stopped going to that DQ, even though it was the only one in town, and it closed down. And they would drive 9 miles over to the other town nearby, which was called Blue Earth. Blue Earth, like one word, but actually is Blue Earth. And the town next to it, which is called Nuom, is actually Noam. So that's how they say it. So it's like people are speaking a different language. Anyway, yeah, DQ, higher standards up there. It should be free, man. If they don't flip it upside down, that is supposed to be the company wide policy, man. If they don't flip that blizzard upside down, it's supposed to be free. Shout out DQ. You can sponsor my show. I love DQ. I would definitely put them on an ad on here. They could just give me what was that? Is that my internet box? Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I had to read that internet box there. Fell off. Let me put these little marks on here. So, when DQ on here and sponsors my dad's workshop bit, then we're gonna make sure that they give us all free DQ and all free blizzards for all the blizzards that we had that weren't turned upside down in the South. All right. See, I'm shading this area because this is gonna come out. This is waste here. I might go to the bandsaw, not now, but probably tomorrow to take care of those. So I have a 10 in here. We got 2 identical braces. Oh, Chardonnay, great question. They died. The first one was stillborn. The second one passed away sadly on Sunday. But that's the bad news. Here's the good news. The good news is we talked to an animal control person that we know, and they gave us 5 kittens that were orphaned, and we put those 5 kittens with the mom, and she took to them immediately. So now she's caring for 5 kittens that aren't hers, but because she's lactating, she can care for those kittens properly, and she's doing a great job. So 5 kittens who might have had a worse shot, they were being bottle fed by this animal control person. They are now in her care, and they're sleeping like little babies under her belly, and they're latching on and eating really well. We'll put some pictures up in the Discord because it's adorable. I'm not even a cat person, but it is really a miracle to see how mothers are universal. Good mothering is generally something you see throughout nature. So I appreciate everybody being here. Chardonnay, friend of the program. Chardonnay, I'm going to get pictures of this stuff put up on my Discord, and I'm going to get an Amazon wish list, like you said. Appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to cut it off. Looks like I'm getting cut off a little bit by my internet anyways. Love you all. Give somebody a hug. Check out the Discord. I will be back tomorrow. I'll try to go a little bit longer too. Yeah, Kitten Cam. Yeah, she's going to go live on her channel. So yeah, we'll do that. Check us out, Miss Heather B. That's her channel. Shout out Daniel. Shout out Ruiz. Shout out Chardonnay. Everybody else who showed up. This is Dad's Workshop out.